Hello, bookworms, bibliophiles, and lovers of all things literature, and welcome to the next chapter of the Braless Book Guild podcasts, where we discard our bras and cut in line to talk about books both published and unpublished. We are your hosts, Jenna. This is Marissa.
Hello.
And that's Megan.
Hi.
And as always, let's start with talking about what we're drinking today. Marissa, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking the mint medley.
Yeah.
It's a good iced tea.
It is. And it's always soothing after, hot days.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it is a hot day.
Yes.
It is a hot day.
It
definitely.
is very hot. What about you, Megan?
I'm doing the Blueberry Hills with a splash of cream. That's from Adagio. It was one of their samples. When you bought a bunch of tea, they gave you a bunch of little samples.
Yeah, they always have fun little samples, and I like that.
Yeah. It's very mild. Doesn't taste like blueberries to me.
It didn't smell very strongly of blueberries. Like, we were making jokes because I kept putting Marissa and Megan's really close to each other, and they steeped about the same color. And I was like, oh, no, I've mixed them up. And both of them wanted different things in their tea. And I was like, she goes, well, look for the one that smells like blueberries. And I'm like, I think I'm going to have to go with the one that smells like mint because the blueberries is very subtle. And I am drinking, as we all know, I have that obsession with the creme brulee green tea. So I'm drinking that iced today with a little bit of the butterscotch sugar. So I'm pretty in love with it. It's pretty nice. I probably should have made it a little stronger, but I also didn't want to be up super late. So
Right.
I was like, I'll go light on it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm going to have some of that tomorrow.
Nice hot day, and iced tea sounded wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we decided what we're going to do today is we're going to discuss books that we have been reading the arcs of. If you don't know what an arc is, it's an advanced reader copy. Megan signed us up for NetGalley. I'll let her get into the spiel of why and how and all this came about. But we each read a book, and we're kind of going to give an in-depth review and discuss whether or not we think each other would like it and what to expect of this book, and kind of give you listeners something to look forward to when they're published. We can talk about when they're coming out, too, so that you know when to look it up.
When to look forward to them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Megan, I'm handing the mic over to you.
Okay, so listen. For those that have stuck around with us since last year, you guys know that we are very into Tasha Suri. We did whole entire episodes just based on her book. And for those that don't know, it was basically for our Sisterhood of the Traveling Books last year. What we did was, Marissa's choice was The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. The three of us really loved it. And we were just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then Marissa ended up reading the second book immediately after. And then Jenna, I think you hopped in right after as well.
I did.
And then I think I had to read a book in between, but I did end up finishing it. And then when the third book came out, we immediately all got on it. And then we did 3 episodes just for her. Yeah. Which was really fun. So because she has another book coming out called The Isle in the Silver Seas, I think it is, I was like, I really want to see if we can get an ARC for that, like an advanced reader copy, or as they say in the publishing world, a galley. If we can get one of those for the, get that before it comes out, and then maybe we can do an episode, and then the day it releases, we can talk about it. But in order for us to do that, we have to get our percentage up on NetGalley up pretty high to be accepted. So I was just like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go in, I'm going to sign us up, I'm going to get a bunch of books, request a bunch of books, and then what I'm going to do is build up our percentage slowly, so when the book comes out, or as it
gets closer,
we can immediately get approved for it.
Right.
The problem is we got approved for nearly all of them. So
we now have a huge TBR just on NetGalley of ARCs.
I'm sorry, guys. But so it's what, a complaining of abundance or whatever.
Yes.
First world problem. But we also did, in fact, get approved for The Isle in the Silver Sea.
So
you can look forward to that episode. Yes. We're very excited. Even just the cover. Have you guys seen the cover for it?
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
so beautiful.
It is 2 women's hands gently grasping each other in a cool background, and I was like, oh my god, yes. I want this already.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It's beautiful. I can't wait to jump into that one. But I also feel like I do want to get our percentage up, because now we have I was telling my husband, we have 16 books, and we've done 6 of them. So I'm trying to get into it and do as many as I can.
Yes.
So that our percentage isn't 40 right now. Something that it's at.
Yeah. Because when I went in at one time, I was like, oh, okay, we had 44%. When I put in mine, it's going to be over 50%. It's going to be great. And then I forgot that just that morning we had been approved for 2 more. And I went in and put in my feedback and the review. And then when I went, it was like, you got 38%. And I was just like, wait, what? Oh, right. Because you're math.
You get more. Because math.
Because math, yeah. So, but, so I have officially finished 3 books.
Awesome.
And then Marissa's finished
1, and I'm a little over halfway through another one.
Okay.
Nice.
And then Jenna has
I have given up on one, and I have read one.
okay.
And I downloaded another one. I just haven't jumped into it yet. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I was like, okay, we have 6 books. It's fine. Me and Megan, we can take this on. And then I logged in. I'm like, there is 16 books.
Yes.
So yeah, but Marissa, what's kind of cool is Marissa gets a little bit more of her genre in there too,
Yeah.
which gives us something completely different to talk about and look at, which I like.
Yeah, I know, because the books that we were already approved for, I'm like, I don't really have an interest in reading them right now,
right.
so I'll leave that up to you guys. And then we can make a list based off of each of ours. So
Yeah.
I went and made a list for mine and then requested a few different books, and I'm like, I don't think they're going to read it, but it sounded interesting to me.
Yeah,
And so I got approved for those ones, so
which is awesome.
which I did a list of 5, so significantly less.
The reasoning behind why I did 15 was because when I did it when I was a artist and I had a ton of followers on Instagram, I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to get them so easy peasy because I'll do artwork for it and they'll want to see artwork because that's a good promotion thing. And I got none. I requested so many way back when and I got 0. So I genuinely thought it was hard.
Yeah.
I thought it was so hard to get that. And then I was joking last night when we were at trivia. I was like, I think it's just because we put media.
Because we're a podcast.
And a podcast, yeah.
We get to promote it through the podcast.
And so I think they were just like, ooh.
So, Megan, why don't you, since you're talking,
Yeah,
get
since
started?
I have 3, should it go Megan, Jenna, Megan, Marissa, Megan?
Maybe let's start with 1 and see where we all go. And if we
Okay.
get back to yours, we can just add another one in. That way Marissa doesn't have a 4-hour-long episode to talk about her.
I'll be very
each
fast.
books.
I really don't have that much to say. Also, one of them is a sequel, so I'm not going to be talking too much about that one.
Cool.
All right, so which one do you guys want to hear first? Do you want to hear Full Metal Alchemist meets These Violent Delights? Or do you want to do King Arthur retelling but make it a girl and time travel? Which one sounds good?
Do that one.
The King Arthur but make it a girl and time travel?
We kind of hit the other one a little bit, but I'm very intrigued on this one that you're talking about.
Okay, so this one is The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow.
Okay.
And we already know we are Alex E. Harrow fangirlies here.
Except Marissa, who hasn't read any, I don't think.
I did.
She
Oh,
did.
she read the-
yeah.
I read the
Once
Knight
Upon
and the
a-
Butcher Bird.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, just recently too.
Yeah.
But wasn't that a novella, right? It's very short.
It was a short story.
Okay.
It was just a short story. It wasn't a full thing.
Yeah. So
How dare I? I forgot.
we did the 10,000 Doors of January. I've done the Starling House, and I actually just genuinely wanted to. I started. What was the Witches
Once
one?
and
Once and Future Witches. I started that one, but then I think I only did 10% before I lost it, or didn't finish it.
On
Anyway,
Libby.
on Libby, yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is told from the point of view of a man, which is actually kind of refreshing because I think 99% of the books I read are from the point of view of women or young women. So it was really refreshing to have the point of view from a guy, but it took me a good 30 pages to realize
That it wasn't a woman.
that it wasn't a woman. But yeah, so it's told from the point of view of Owen Mallory, who is a scholar who has always been fascinated by the story of Una the Everlasting, who is basically that world's King Arthur. But instead of King Arthur becoming king, she's just a knight for the queen that she put on the throne, and then did all of these quests for her.
So
And
more like Lancelot?
Sure.
Sure.
Without all the love and betrayal.
Yeah.
Minus the that.
Minus that.
But yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I guess. And so, well, the queen also wasn't a knight as well. She wasn't.
Yeah.
She was just there. So anyway, so he has always been intrigued by her story, and like she is the reason that he became a scholar, and he decided that like as a war is raging, that he sees a poster, basically Uncle Sam version of her saying, "We want you," and he's like, "I need to go fight for my country." But his dad is a pacifist and is just like, "Don't do it," and he's like, "Screw you, I'm going anyway." So he goes to war and comes back with PTSD, and then returns to like the scholarly life and decides he's going to write papers in his thesis and a book about Una Everlasting, until he finds someone sends him a book of the original tale, like wrapped in like this like bark, and the papers are so thin and so old that he's just like, oh my gosh, this is the original tale. And then he like starts translating it, and then comes back, and it's missing, and in its place is a card. And so he takes the card and goes to the address, and it is the Minister of War. And so she is like, "I need you to save your country." And she basically, he like has his hand on the book. She stabs his hand, and he's flown back 1,000 years to this giant yew tree, Y-E-W, yew tree. And there is Sir Una Everlasting, standing in front of him with a knife to his throat.
Oh.
Okay, so that's just like the beginning. I will say what I absolutely loved. To start off, this book was a 5-star for me because the writing style was so good. I loved every moment of it. I thought it was so well done in like both the characters' wants and needs, and like the way that they interacted with each other. And because it's a book about time travel, I will say that there's like loops that he has to go through, but I won't like give any further spoilers other than that. So there's like a reasoning behind like their characters' interactions and the way that they like talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And there'll be like these moments where he's just like, deja vu, interesting. But it is a very much slow burn romance, but I will say the romance wasn't, it's kind of hard to say because the romance is like a big part of it, but it's not like the kind of romances that you get from like A Corner of Thorns and Roses or all of those where it's like, I'm immediately attracted to you. Nothing else matters but you. It's literally like they both suffer from PTSD. They don't know how to handle it, and they don't know how to handle each other. And I was saying to Marissa last night, one of my favorite moments in this book is that Una is like 6'5". She's really tall. And Owen he's not like short, but he's shorter than her. Okay. So she's like the big spoon. And she's the hard one. She's the one who like goes to battle. And it just like subverts so many of these stereotypes and these tropes in such a fun and like amazing way where like he's the soft one.
Oh, okay.
Even though he has, been to war and he has all of these difficulties, she's the one who's taking care of him.
Okay. I like
in
that.
like a what you would normally see in a romance, like
yeah, the guy's usually the one that's like, it's okay, I'll save you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Megan, anytime she wants me to read a book, tries to downplay the romance, but also needs to upplay the romance for you. So she has to find that balance of like, there's romance, but it's not too bad. But it's really epic and cute. But I mean, it's not the biggest part of the story.
But okay, this one is so
hard part of being Megan.
Yeah. It's so hard for me to explain this romance because of all the time loops. Like, it's so difficult for me to like be like, yeah, the romance is so important, because in one time loop it might be, in another time loop it's like they didn't even touch each other, kind of thing. But also outside of the romance, the twists and turns of this book, I gasped like 3 or 4 times. It was amazing. It was so like the plot twist. I'm pretty sure you guys can very quickly guess the plot twist. But there's more to it. And then, of course, like we were saying, best friend Hannah just finished An Ember in the Ashes today.
Yeah.
How you keep wondering, like, how can they get out of this?
Yeah.
How can they, like, get out of this mess that they're in? I genuinely do not see a way for them to escape this,
complication,
convoluted, like everything's knotted together. How can they get out of that? And then it's just like, oh, I see. That was pretty smart of you. So
I like that.
Yeah,
That
I
makes it
really
very
liked it.
interesting. Yeah. Was there anything about the book that you didn't like or you could see being off-putting to someone?
Oh, that's a good question. I will say, like, the beginning part that I gave you guys, right before his hand gets stabbed over the book and he, like, goes back in time, I will say that was, like, 20% of the book. So that was, I very much condensed it, but it is a long part of the book. And I will say, oh, sorry, another cool thing. Some people might not like this. It is told, even though it's first person perspective, so it's the I did this, I did that. It is also like he is talking to someone, and like kind of how Al-Sarafi is. Told. But he is saying, "Oh, when I first saw you, this is how I felt, and oh, I knew that you were going to be so important in my life when this happened, and oh, when you looked at me over the fire, I knew that I was in love with you." But not a real love, because
but not super sappy.
Because Marissa's got to read this book. So yeah, I thought that part was really cool, and I think the first line is something like, "You saved my life 3 times," and I think it's something similar like that. And so I thought that was such a cool and unique way to tell a story. So for me, like when I was explaining it to some people, they're saying, oh, I don't like that because I don't like second person, because that's sort of second person. Even though it's first person perspective, it's told in a way that's also second person involved, I guess. For me, it felt like I was literally sitting at the fire, and it's like I'm saying, like I'm telling Jenna a story, but I'm including Marissa and saying, oh, yeah, and then you, Marissa, you did this kind of thing. But Jenna's still hearing this. So I felt like we were sitting all around a fire, and Owen was like telling the story about Una Everlasting and being like, oh, but then you, Una, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, wow. And I loved it. I loved it. So I do think that some people might be turned off by the you part. And then I do think some people might be like, this is supposed to be a time loop story. Why is it taking forever for this to get to the time travel part? So I do think that people will be a little...
If I remember correctly, I feel like 10,000 Days of January took a long time to set up too. And it was just one of those things where it's like, it wasn't like, man, I don't want to, like, I want to put it down, I'm so bored. It was just like, where is this going? Where is this going?
Yeah. And
then by the time it finally, like, got into it, I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm into this now, So yeah. I think her books in general, if I remember correctly, and knowing that that's the other one that I have read, take a little bit longer to get to the point, but the setup's important.
I think, thinking about the Starling House, I think it actually genuinely took a while before the main character and the love interest actually met.
Yeah.
Like, they saw each other from afar a couple times, but for them to actually, like, meet and talk.
Yeah.
I think, if I remember correctly, listeners out there.
So it might not be the book to read if you guys want the romance and the focus of the, like, oh, my heart started beating the minute I saw you kind of thing. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think.
But if you're more into it for the literary aspects.
Yes. It's definitely, I would definitely not consider this a romance book, only because in my brain, romance books now have to include smut. So for me, like, there's like a fade to black scene, but it's not sexy. Smutty. So, yeah. So anyway, I give this 5 out of 5. I highly recommend it. I do think it would be an incredibly fun book to read. And I was even joking, like I put in my review for the publishers, I said, I almost wish I can go back in time and reread it as though I hadn't, with no memory of it, just so I could experience it all over again.
Yeah.
I think it only took me like 3 days to read. It was very fast for me.
Oh, wow.
But I was very invested because I was just like, oh my gosh. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yes, just for references, Una Everlasting is an adult fantasy, and it comes out October 28th of 2025. And my like little snippets are, it has time loops, King Arthur, but make it a woman. And then I said, I think it's The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young meets Silver in the Bone by, I forgot her name.
Alexandra Bracken?
Alexandra Bracken. You coming in clutch, Jenna. Thanks.
How did I know that?
How did you know that?
I didn't read it, so it's amazing that I did.
So look out for it in end of October. It would be such a good
spooky read?
Not spooky, cozy winter read. It's not a cozy book, but it would be like you cuddle up by the fire. Like I said, you sit by the fire and listen to him tell the story.
Hopefully it's a really good audiobook.
Oh my God, that would be so... Oh my God. I would love it as an audiobook. Oh my gosh. Okay. When it comes out, I'm going to be doing another listen. Jenna, genius. Okay. So yeah.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Time to.
Okay, well, thank you, Megan. Marissa, do you want to talk about your book? That felt
Sure.
very much like a school project. Thank you, Megan.
Thank you,
Marissa.
Megan.
Listen, I love hearing thank you.
Next up.
Positive reinforcement. We love it.
Next up, we have Marissa.
I know.
Marissa. What?
Yeah, so I read The Salvage by Ambara Salam. It is very confusing about its release date because on one hand, if you Google it, it says it's releasing on January 2020.
What?
And then, but like in NetGalley and other sources say that it's releasing October 7th, 2025. So I don't know if she had another one and she rewrote it or if it's published somewhere else and now she's publishing it here. I didn't look into it that much. But according to NetGalley and some sources, it's being published October 7th, 2025.
Okay.
So, yeah, this book is set in the 1960s during So, it's weird. So, it's set in Scotland in the 1960s during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Oh.
So, that comes into play at a point in the book. But it's about a woman who is like an archaeologist, and she goes on a submarine dive to get stuff from a shipwreck that is up in Scotland for this tiny island, and the shipwreck's captain is like the island's folklore hero person that everybody loves, and they're like, oh, Captain Purdy and stuff like that, he's the best, and his remains are down there and all of the stuff, so she's been hired to go grab things from the ship, including his remains, so that they can bury him and do a museum so that people could come in and see, like, basically bring in an economy of people coming to this museum to see all this stuff.
When did he supposedly die?
I don't remember the exact year.
But was it like 10 years prior or 50 years or 100 years?
Like, I mean, it's not like super... I think it's like 1800s and this is 1967.
Okay.
So it's like within 100 years or something like that.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact dates. But yeah, so he's like supposed to be this really important guy there. But it's also supposed to be a very creepy book because when she goes diving, she like sees something in the water. And like she thinks she's being like haunted by something while she's on this island trying to do this stuff.
Is she by herself?
Not on the island, but she is an outsider.
Water.
And she is by herself in the water.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Spooky.
So, like, this island's like a very small town where, like, everybody knows each other and all their family business and stuff like that. And so she comes in as this outsider that's been hired to go grab all this stuff, and she's by herself diving down there. And this is, like, during the winter in Scotland, so it's, like, freezing when she goes in the water, too. But she's like really proud because it's the 60s, so it's like when women are starting to do jobs like that men normally do and stuff. So she's one of the few women that does this.
Okay.
So yeah, I was intrigued by it because I was like, oh, like something creepy is going on in Scotland in the 1960s, and it's sapphic. Like there's a woman that she has a relationship with on the island. Like there's like this love story that goes on the island. So I was like, okay, I'm curious about this. And I think it was really well written. I think the author is very intelligent, and she knew a lot about that era and that area, especially during the 1960s. The author herself, I believe, is actually Scottish, Israeli. I gotta look that up to make sure I'm correct. So she's Palestinian, Lebanese, and Scottish Presbyterian.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Very multicultural.
Yes. And that comes up. The main character in her book is Syrian. And so they talk about it in the book of like how she's kind of an outsider, not just for the island, but also because of her skin and stuff like that.
Now I know why you were interested.
I didn't know that, actually.
Really?
For the majority of the book, she mentions it like way later on what it actually, like, she mentions the prejudice to an extent, but like actually being Syrian was like way later in the book. But so yeah, I think the author was really intelligent. She knew a lot about that area. She wrote really well about it. There was a lot of like quotable moments, I think, that if I had like taken the time and like highlighted them and stuff, I would have been like, I liked this quote and I liked the way she worded this. I think the writing was done really well. My only critique for it, really, and it was a big one that kind of ruined the book a lot for me, I did not like the main character.
Oh.
She was not likable.
Yeah.
And there's like this whole mystery for the first part. Like, at first my critique was like, she wrote it like we knew who people were when we didn't know who they were, so we didn't know what was going on. But the purpose of that was to like have this mystery, and then you find out who these people are, and you're like, oh. But when I found out who the people were, I'm like, oh, that painted you in a really bad light.
Oh, interesting.
And she was very whiny in some sense. Like, I think a lot of the tension that was built was unnecessary tension that, like, the character built herself and the author, like, forced upon it just to have tension that I think took away from, like, other aspects of the book. Like, the weird creepiness and stuff going on. I was way more interested in that. And for a good majority of, like, the middle of the book, like, past, like, the first, like, 3 chapters till you got to, like, over halfway through the book was just all about her own personalized drama. And I hated that.
Gosh.
Hard to get through.
Yeah. I feel like it's like you're watching a show for its like good quality, and then suddenly it's just like throwing in let's do a love triangle.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is why?
Exactly. That's kind of how it felt to me. So like once it got back into like the spookiness and like what's this like curse that's going on or what's actually going on.
Curse. Ooh.
It's like a weird, like, is it a curse? Is it something else? Like, is she actually seeing things? Or they're in the middle of this giant snowstorm, which historically is accurate. There was actually a huge snowstorm during that time.
Interesting.
And it was like there's a certain point where everybody's basically like locked inside for a week because they can't get out because the snow's so heavy.
Oh gosh.
So, like, once it gets to, like, that high stakes, like, creepiness there, I loved that, and I loved reading about that. But anytime she talked about her personal life...
You're just like, oh.
I was like, I don't care about you.
You're like, look, I'm interested in the creepy, but when you start talking about your personal life, I'm kind of hoping they kill you off.
Exactly. And I think I put that in my review of, like, I had a hard time caring about the stuff that she was worried about. Because I didn't care if bad things happened to her.
You're like, in fact, if bad things happen to her, I'd be more interested.
Right? This would get way more interesting. But, like, she'd make this drama. Like, one of the, like, drama is that, like, items are going missing from the boat that she's supposed to take stuff from.
Ooh.
And she's like, oh, no, my career is ruined. And I'm like... somebody stole something. Like, yeah, I know it's under your watch and I know you're a woman, so it's like there's higher expectations and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm all like,
you can't be down there all the time.
Exactly. You're not guarding it. Yeah. Like, anybody can go to it. Everybody knows where it's at. There's like a thing that like is flagging where it's at, like a buoy that's flagging where it's at. So I'm like, I didn't really care that people like. Yes, it was creepy and weird, and I was like, who's stealing this? But I didn't care that it was going to ruin her career.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's a problem that I'm noticing a lot in books sometimes is when they over-explain. That's actually one of the issues that I had with mine is when they over-explain, like, the motivation or why it affects them or, like, what's going... And it's like, once you set the premise for, like, why this is going to be an issue, I feel like you don't have to... reiterate it over and over again.
Yes.
And that's what it did.
Okay.
I think it kept bringing it back up. And, I mean, even other characters were just annoyed with her sometimes. I'm like, I get it. And she had the like Goldilocks trait of where she'd just like jump into things or like jump to conclusions. So like literally as soon as she had one person she suspected, she would walk up to them and be like, I know you did it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
no, you don't.
You don't actually.
And the dude's like, what?
Yeah,
Exactly. Did what?
Yeah.
But that being said, I do think it was a really well written book. I did really enjoy, especially like the last half of it. I did enjoy that, and I started devouring it at that point. And then I put in there that I do think for somebody out there, and you could say this about any book, but I do genuinely think somebody out there will find this to be a 5-star book for them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think there are people that would actually enjoy her personal drama on top of the mystery part? Okay.
I think some people will. And part of that, I talked about how I wanted Haley to read this book so I could have a sounding board. And I gave her kind of the rundown that I gave you guys, less detail, but basically like, yeah, it's a creepy book and it's sapphic. And my biggest problem with it was that I didn't like the character. She was very unlikable. She's like, Haley's like, I love unlikable characters. Well, there you go. You might like this book.
All right.
Yeah. So
it might be a 5-star read for Haley. Let's check in with her.
Yeah.
I told her she should read it, and I want her to read it just so I have a sounding board for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys would like the book as much.
Okay.
That's fair.
Maybe Jenna would like it all right because you might like some of the drama, but I do think you'd agree, like, I don't like this character.
Yeah.
So.
And I can get behind unlikable characters if there's something else that's really drawing me into it.
Mm-hmm.
But character development is a big thing for me. So
Yeah.
In fact, that's one of the things I was going to say about mine that I liked.
Yeah. I know you don't give like star ratings as well.
I gave it a 3-star because I have to do.
Okay.
You have to do a star rating
Okay.
on NetGalley, so I gave it a 3-star because it wasn't terrible. I didn't hate reading it, but I definitely would not like put this on my shelf and be like, I like this book a lot.
You
What
pushed
about-
through.
What about anything? Are there comparable books that people who enjoyed that book might like this book?
Oh, I didn't think about that enough to
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
actually compare. I mean, part of it, a lot of the time when I was reading it, I was thinking of The Luminous Dead because I was thinking of like the creepy aspect, but there were parts like where personal life would interject in there, and I'm like, stop it. I don't care about the personal life. And that's another reason why I thought Haley would like it, was because I thought about The Luminous Dead while I was reading it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily comparable in that sense of like, it's a very good book like The Luminous Dead. I just think they're both creepy, and the personal stuff interjecting was what I didn't like about it.
Okay. Cool.
So maybe if you like The Luminous Dead, you'll like it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I do want people to read it, though, because
Yeah.
I do think, like I said, there are people out there that are really going to like this book.
Yeah.
And I think it was written really well. I think the author is very intelligent. She has a lot of other books, too. I don't know if I'd read them or not, but they actually sound very, like, diverse as far as, like, books go, where I don't think any of them sound like the exact same thing over and over again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
but yeah.
Well,
very fun.
I'm curious what Haley will say about it. Really,
Yeah.
is what it boils down to. I think I'm curious because I want to hear someone else's perspective, but I don't want to read it.
You don't want to do the work,
don't
but
wanna
you
do the
want to
work.
hear the results.
I just want to know whether or not someone else enjoyed it, and if they had similar critiques or different critiques on their own, and like, oh yeah, I liked it, but I didn't like this much. Maybe I'll just go read all the reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go read the reviews.
I don't care if anything's spoiled for me.
We'll have to, if Haley ends up reading it when it comes out, we'll have to see, remember to come back and report.
Yes.
Be like, for those of you guys that very vaguely remember from this episode a half a year ago.
Yeah. But that being said, I am very much enjoying the one that I am reading right now, and if we have time, I'll talk about that one, even though I'm only like halfway through it.
Okay, cool.
But
Awesome.
All right, Jenna, what you got?
So we talked about how I started. I think I've told you guys at the end of episodes I started Battle of the Bookstores.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bookshop.
Shops, I think it was.
Yeah. I am ashamed to admit / it points out just how very badly I could not get into it. I didn't even make it 50 pages in that book.
Yeah.
And I could not finish it. It was not for me. So poor Nat Kelly, I do have to give it a star, so I gave it a 1-star review. I hate doing that because if I DNF it, it might be something for someone, but I literally couldn't even think of one thing I liked about the book.
Yeah.
The funny thing is I also put in there that, like, although this is not my cup of tea, someone else will probably love this. I can see a lot of people really enjoying it. That being said, it is not my cup of tea, and I didn't like it at all.
I felt so bad because as I'm like reading the description for that, and I don't read the description, but I read it and I was like, oh, Romeo and Juliet, bookshops, romance. Oh my God, that's so Jenna.
Yeah.
And then
everything about it sounded like I could enjoy it, and everything about it was everything I dislike.
It's also really hard because Romeo and Juliet is so popular that it becomes repetitive and everybody writes about it and it becomes annoying.
Right. So the hard part about Romeo and Juliet is that it's one of those things where it's like they're the original enemies to lovers, right? Except for they're also the original insta-love. And
yeah.
It's so true.
And it's like, and so everyone wants to use it as inspiration because they do bring that enemies to lovers aspect. But this was almost too on the nose. It had like the Montebeaus or something with the last name, and the Caputaires or something. I don't even remember. But I was just like, their names were Roman and Jules. Like, it couldn't possibly have been more on the nose. And it just didn't work well with me. I didn't like any of the character interactions. I didn't like the narrative. I didn't like the dialogue. None of it was for me. So instead, I quit that and jumped into The House Saphir by
The queen herself,
yes,
Marissa Meyer.
Nice
name.
Yeah.
We love a good Marissa name and
We
a
do.
Megan name. Have there been Jenna books?
I'm sure there
I
has.
know
Not
there's
that I've
Jennifer,
read.
but no Jenna.
None
We're
that I've
going
read
to
off
go on the
top of my
hunt
head.
now. Okay.
Goodreads.
Good reads. Tell us, or what is like, it's like the Oracle or whatever. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, I jumped into The House Saphir by Marissa Meyer because I know I love Marissa Meyer. The only book that I really didn't enjoy by Marissa Meyer was Heartless, and I still read it. I finished it. I didn't DNF it. I enjoyed it enough. It was the only one that disappointed me, I guess, by her. Wasn't my favorite. This book was a Bluebeard retelling, which I found interesting and fascinating. What I like about Marissa Meyer is that she does retellings in a very unique and fun way that is not exactly what everyone else is doing. And
Like Supernova, not the Supernova, the Arch. What is it? Arch Enemies? No,
yeah,
what's the first one? I went through third to the second. What's the first one?
Renegades.
Renegades.
Renegades. Is
And
the
that
first
was
one.
that was like superheroes, but from the point of view of the supervillain.
Right.
And I thought that
in
was
a
so
world
cool.
where it's like they're just there, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like they have superhero schools and they have, you know, stuff like that. So it was interesting and it's fun. And Cinder, it's like Cinder was we have a million Cinderella retellings, but it was, you know, cyborgs and futuristic and like, and they threw in all the other fairy tales to twist with them, which was super fun, and I liked it.
It's not a spoiler, but the way that she lost her shoe was she lost her whole foot.
Hit her entire foot instead of
Her
just her
cyborg
shoe.
foot. Oh gosh, I love that book so much.
Yeah, so it was great. So it's been a long time since I've read Marissa Meyer, but I was excited to read a Bluebeard retelling because it's a fun, interesting, spooky. Is it folklore? It wouldn't be a fairy tale, would it? Bluebeard?
Is
I think it's more
Bluebeard
folklore?
A
but
real person?
It's no, it's like more folklore, fairy tale kind of feeling, but it's like, so the story of Bluebeard, it's funny because I was like, everyone knows the story of Bluebeard. Megan's like, I don't know the story of Bluebeard.
I don't know the story of Bluebeard.
Essentially, it's if you, depending on how you read it and where you've read it, the way I've heard it is a woman meets a man and he's very charming and she falls in love and they're very in love and they have a whirlwind romance and they get married and he like dotes on her and gives her everything that she could ever want, but like the one thing she can't do is go into the cellar. And he has like a key into his cellar and he's like, all I ask of you is never to go in the cellar, never go into the cellar. And then when she goes into the cellar, she finds like the heads of all his wives.
Oh,
All his ex-wives.
wow.
So essentially,
I
like,
thought Bluebeard was a pirate.
the funny thing is there's like a quote in the book from Marissa Meyer that she's like, common misconception, everyone thought he was a pirate.
I mean, with a name like
Bluebeard.
I just assumed, yeah.
Fun thing about this was it was very much French. It had a lot of French monsters and French folklore in it. So I was not familiar with a lot of the French monsters and stuff like that. So it was fun learning about those through this. I like Marissa Myers did put like a big thing, like, here's essentially what they are. Know that I took a lot of liberties. I was like, great. I love it. It had the ghost story aspect, but given the fact that it's a Bluebeard retelling and it's told from the point of view, so it's told from a girl who her ancestors are all witches. So Mallory and Anise, I think is how you pronounce her sister's name. It's A-N-A-I with the little dots over it, S. So I'm thinking Anise, but I could be wrong. Are not twins. They're sisters. Mallory's the younger one. And their lineage is witches. Their mom was a really well-renowned witch. And then their mom dies, and they don't have magic. Petty magic is what they call it. They don't have like witchcraft. They're not able to do that. So they kind of start faking it and kind of swindle people. But what Mallory does, what Mallory is she knows so much about the history of Monsieur Le Bleu, or Bastien Saphir the First. And that is Bluebeard in this book. So it's like, how can you have a retelling when you know he kills his wives, right? That's like the right away thing. But she takes people on tours of the house, and you find out pretty quickly that her one trait that she does have is that she can see and talk to ghosts.
Oh, cool.
So she is like doing this tour of this house, and like the very beginning, she's sitting out there and waiting and meeting up with these people that want to do this tour of her the Saphir house, and they're waiting for one more person, and they're late, and they don't find them. And then she takes these people on the tour, and she's pretty much telling the story of the House Saphir. And then, like, as she's doing it, like, the first wife who died is, like, coming up to her. She's like, I'm trying to tell you something, Mallory. Mallory, why are you not listening to me? Mallory, Mallory, Mallory. And, like, she's like, you haven't even come up and talked to me. I'm trying to tell you. And she's trying to, like, ignore them because, like, she's like, the first rule of seeing ghosts is you don't interact in front of people that don't see the ghost, right?
Yeah.
But then she's talking about how, like, she does these things, and when the wife of the first wife is feeling up to it, she'll play along and, like, move the curtains and, like, totally play up the haunting with her and stuff like that.
We love women that
yes.
help other women.
Right. But, like, the first line of it was, like, that she, like, waiting on a corner is, like, a good way to get killed and stuff like that. And, like, she knows, she's, like, just highly aware of it. And it's a Victorian type feel. And it's, like, she's a woman. She's proper. She's not supposed to talk about murder and death and be interested in gore and, like, stuff like that. But Mallory kind of has, like, Wednesday Addams vibes. Like, she's like, no, I am interested in this, and I don't care that it's not ladylike, and I'm going to talk about murder and death, and you're paying me to do it, so shut up. And, like, and then all this stuff happens. So they hear, like, a big noise, and Mallory's like, all right, the end of the tour. And she, like, hits a switch to, like, make these woo ghost noises. And this, like, mannequin comes down, and she's like, look, it's the ghost of so-and-so. And the third person that they're waiting for, like, sneaks out and, like, or, like, touches her on the shoulder. And she, like, flips him over and, like, tries to, like, get him. And then it's like, oh, no, I'm just the third person you're waiting for. And she's like, well, you see, the tour's, like, almost over. And then the two other people that she was with were like, all right, we think we've seen enough. You're under arrest, essentially. Like, you've been scamming all these people. We're inspectors. People have been telling us that you're scamming all these people. There's been a lot of complaints about you and your sister. And she was like, prove it. Like, everyone pays for this tour. Like, and they're like, well, maybe we can't prove this, but you're selling essentially trinkets claiming they're, like, actual replicas, asking them to pay more. I bet I can prove it when I go to the jeweler in the morning. She's like, well, until then, like, good luck. Like, well, you are trespassing. And then the third person is like, actually, she's not. I am the current Count Saphir and stuff. And she was like, what the heck?
The man that she flipped over
yes.
her shoulder.
And so that's how they, like, meet, essentially. So she's in trouble.
Why am I just thinking of Nick from the fox from
Zootopia?
Zootopia, yeah. When she's like, "You're selling redwood," and he's like, "Look,
it's
red wood."
Red wood. Exactly. That's kind of how she is. She's like, "Prove it." Like, you can't prove it. And so the inspectors leave, and they're like, "We'll be back to get you and your sister in the morning. Like, we
She's
know
like,
where your
"Peace
shop
out."
is, you know." And so everything's like, her jig is pretty much up. All this stuff's going on. And then, like, after the inspectors leave, there's essentially a werewolf that's like upstairs, and it's making noises. And the ghost is like, "I was trying to tell you there is something upstairs." And like, so she's like, kind of like, okay. So she goes to kind of like confront it. Not probably her smartest move. She has no silver on her. She has nothing. And like the count like follows her up, and he's like, "It's fine. You have these like actual pieces of silver people have been paying you," and like steals her bag and like throws it at the werewolf and like to distract him, and he like eats them on accident and then like gets distracted, and like he pulls her out the window to save her. It's very weird the way I'm telling it. But anyway, the count saves her. She loses all her money, and her jig is up, right? Essentially is the point. So then when the count comes to see her the next morning...
Is this not the entire book? I
No,
feel like you've
this
just been
is
telling me the
literally
entire book, like chapter by chapter.
This is the first chapter. This is how I feel about Megan. So,
About
anyway,
me?
Yeah. I was like, wow, you set up this whole book. And I was like, oh, that's the whole story of the book. They're like, that's the first 20%. I'm like, wait, hold on. So that was pretty much the first chapter. That's pretty much what happened. It sets her up for the count to come and be like, look, you have nowhere else to go. I could press charges, but I need your help because my vineyard house is haunted. Like, our mansion is haunted. And she goes, well, yeah, duh, the wives are there. And he's like, no, 7 years ago, Bastien, Monsieur Le Bleu or whatever, himself came back. And
alive or ghost?
A ghost. And he's been haunting it, and now I can't keep any help. And he's causing general mayhem, and we're just really afraid. Like, we don't know what he's up to. We need you to get rid of him. Oh, God, I forgot an entire part of the beginning part, too. There was so much going on.
Rewind.
But, yeah, essentially when he saw her the first time, when they fought off the werewolf, he got knocked kind of like half unconscious, like dazed, on the ground and like broke her fall. And she saw these two guys come up, and one of them shot the werewolf with an arrow, and it turned into like a miniature figurine. And they were like, if you need us, here's our card. And she's just like, who are you guys? And then Bastien was like, I knew you had... Or not Bastien, Armand, the count now, was like, I knew you had magic. Like, I knew you weren't actually a fraud. I saw you turn him in... That wolf, you made it go away with your magic. And so essentially that's why he, like, really believes that she's not actually a fraud, because he saw these people do this crazy thing.
Every time you say fraud, my brain wants to say frog.
Frog!
And I'm just like, I knew you were in a frog. Okay.
But yeah, so he gets her, and she's like, at first she's like, no, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. And then he's like, look, I'll pay you whatever you want. And she's like, great. And like puts like a huge, ridiculous sum. And he's like, yeah, I'll pay it, whatever. Like, come and take care of this. And so her motivation the whole time is like, I'm faking him out, but he has to believe that I'm really able to do this so that he'll pay me this ridiculous amount of money.
So like a Psych.
Yes.
Like the show Psych moment.
And that was my big complaint, was that I felt like, once again, that was used over and over and over again. And she's like, I have to make it believable, so I'm going to burn some ashes and do an incense to make him think that I'm smudging the house to get rid of this ghost. And, like, it just kind of felt like over the top where she was just replaying that part. But otherwise, like, she's there, she's doing this, and then a murder happens. And she's like... And it's another woman who is, like, very obviously, like, flirting with and interested in the Count there. But the Count is obviously interested in Mallory. And there's, like, the love interest. And so the maid is like, oh, my gosh, but I'm in love with the Count or whatever. And then she's like, I have a beau, but I can't tell you about him. And Mallory's like, I thought you were interested in the Count. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not allowed to talk to you about who it is, but the Count is very handsome.
Wait, who is this? Sorry.
The maid. And then she
who's
dies.
maid?
She gets...
The maid of the house.
The house. The maid of the house when she's there.
The original house or the vineyard house?
The vineyard house.
Okay.
When they're there. There's no one in the original house.
Okay.
all I was thinking of, I have a boyfriend. He lives in Canada.
Right.
He goes to a different school.
Yeah.
But she's got like this ridiculous ring on, and she's like, please read my fortune. And like the girls are like, okay, we can't actually do that because we don't actually have petty magic, but let's pretend we can because we can't say anything. And they pull these things, and it's pretty much like, it's not tarot cards, but it's essentially tarot cards. And it's like, if every card you pulled was the death card. And they're like, no, it's a good thing. Don't worry. And then the maid's like, well, actually, we're already married. And then she dies. So she got married to a mysterious person that she couldn't tell anyone about. And then she dies in the same way that the wives died. And so it's like, who is it? Is it Monsieur Lebleu? Was he somehow trying to become corporeal as a ghost? And or was it Armand, the count? And so there's like the murder mystery aspect of it. There's the ghosts that haunt. You meet all of the different wives. You hear about like the history of what happened and everything. And then there's like the supernatural, like magical aspect of it, because he was obviously up to something with why he was killing them, and he was like carving words into their arms and stuff, like he like trust and betrayal into their arm. And so it's like it brought this mystery in. It brought the ghost story, the spooky aspect, which I really enjoyed. It's a retelling. I thought it was fun. It was an intriguing, unique way of doing it. And the romance, I was thinking about it as I was writing my review of this. What I like about Marissa Myers is every one of her female main characters is interesting, unique, and has a very distinct personality.
Yeah.
Like this one felt very Wednesday Addams, and Cinder felt very like, I'm the mechanic and I can handle it and I'm going to do it. Whereas like Cress was like very like meek and little and like, you know, it's just like they each have their unique individual personalities. But all of the love interests are kind of the same.
Okay, hang on. Kai was...
They're just soft little doughboys that are like, I love you.
And Thorn was the only one that was just like, he was snarky.
Well, he was snarky. And I mean, like, if you look at like Wolf, he was the protective alpha. And then Kai was just kind of the little doughboy that was like, I'm the prince though, but I love you, Cinder, even though I shouldn't.
Yeah.
And so like, it was cute because like, the count was obviously trying to like be the love interest, and like he's very much like be like, oh, like let me take you out on a picnic, and she's like, that sounds horrible. Why would I stand in the sun and bake and have ants and bugs crawling all over my food? And he's like, how about a nice row in the rowboat on the lake? And she's like, where it could flip over and I'd be stranded in the middle of a lake and covered in water and not be able to swim back. He's like, do you want to check out the cemetery? And she's like, yes, let's go. Like, all right, down. And but he's like obviously infatuated with her and following her around, but then is he or isn't he the murderer? Could he possibly be trying to stop his or finish up what Monsieur Lebleu started? Or
this reminds me of the second plot line of Beneath the Haunting Sea, where she goes to the house.
I wish I knew what you were talking about.
I think you made it that far at least. Where there was like the mystery of the house, and like here's this guy that she's betrothed to, and he's like,
yeah.
You didn't make it that far?
I did kind of. I literally stopped probably right about there when I was like, oh god, there's two different men that she's interested in.
Oh,
like,
right,
what's happening here.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, it's kind of similar where it's like it has those gothic kind of vibes, and I really enjoyed it. I liked the chemistry of the characters. There was, you know, it's Marissa Myers. It's very young adult romance, so there's not even a fade to black. It's like there's one kissing kind of scene, but there's kissing.
Marissa's like I'm out. Yeah. I'm out.
They kissed.
Straight and they kissed. I'm not reading that.
But otherwise,
gross.
I think that what's cute about her is that like even despite that, like she finds a way to make it like cute and fluttery, and like she does have like good little moments with them, and you do care about like, oh, I do want them to get together. I wish that they had more moments to build up her falling for him, even though she's like, I would never fall in love. Why am I weirdly obsessed with this guy? Why can't I stop thinking about him? This is frustrating. I don't want to fall in love. It sounds dumb and stupid, and like, you know, things like that. And I wish that they had built that up a little bit more and had more moments between them where they could have fallen in love and like had that questioning like moment a little longer of like, her starting to suspect him, even though she's like fallen for him, because it kind of felt a little rushed on the like her falling for him thing. But it was cute. It was fun. I liked it. And I wish that it hadn't been so on the nose with the like, this is why I'm here. I have to make him believe this.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
have to make him believe this. But her whole backup plan was that like, oh, I'm going to contact those people if I really can't do anything about it, or be like, oh, I tried, but I'm going to get help, you know, or whatever. And then like she goes to like contact the people, and like a salamander could apparently breathe fire, and like incinerated her note to them, so that she was never able to reach out to them for help. And so then it became like high stakes and stuff like that.
That's definitely, I don't know if it's French, but I've heard of salamanders being able to breathe fire before.
So it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I think that it definitely was many steps above Heartless, where I cared about it. I was intrigued. There was a lot of stuff going on. It was a very fun, spooky read, which is unfortunate because it doesn't come out in October. It comes out November 4th.
Just after.
Yeah. But it's like, it still has the fun, like spooky ghost story, murder mystery vibes. Obviously kind of low stakes because it's young adult. It's definitely not up there with Cinder and the Lunar Chronicles, though, to me. I think that it's falls somewhere in the middle. Because of that, I gave it a 4-star rating. But overall, like, I think a lot of people really like this. I am never disappointed by her. I did read this book in like 3.5 days. So it was a very quick, easy read. And obviously I cared enough to keep going and not be like, well, this is boring. I did find some things very predictable, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. But there was also enough that I didn't see coming that I was like, oh, okay. Like, interesting. And then even as you sit there and go like, okay, I know this twist, I know this twist, I need this twist. I'm like, but how are they going to wrap this up? So I felt good about how they wrapped it up.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I don't think that there will be a sequel necessarily to this book, but I do think that those two people that I talked about in the beginning that had the magic arrow and stuff, I think that they may have another story that hopefully Marissa Meyer expands on, because if not, that was a very sad, quick throwaway that had a lot of build up that could go somewhere. So yeah.
Okay.
Highly recommend, but also maybe if you're not into young adult and retellings, or you're a stickler on wanting a lot of smut, might not be for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you really want a good mystery, like this is a decent mystery, not a good mystery.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very nice.
Oh.
I'll just give a super quick one on mine, because I can't really give much because it's a sequel to the first book. I do think this is only a duology, and this is the one I've been talking about almost all year. It's the sequel to The Book of Night by Holly Black, and this is Thief of Night, and I was so excited to get this arc for. Basically, once I finished The Everlasting, I was like, the next day I got accepted for this one, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to that one. So, this one basically picks up where Book of Night left off. And just a quick recap, it's all about like shadows and people like manipulating shadows and using shadow magic. Everyone's a shadow daddy in this book.
Love it.
I even like sent Jenna a message. I was like, he's a shadow daddy. The love interest is a shadow daddy, and I'm actually here for it. But that's also because everyone is a shadow daddy. So it basically picks up, there's like a whole other mystery that the main character, her name is Charlie. Hey, we like that name. So Charlie has to like solve, and she basically like needs help, but it's like her new like partner in crime basically doesn't know what they're doing. So she's just like, I need you to be helpful, and he's just like, I don't know what I can do to help you, and she's just like, ugh. So yeah, so that was, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It ended pretty nicely.
Yeah.
I still had a couple questions, so I do feel like she could return to this world if she wanted to, but I felt like it had a very nice and solid ending that I was not disappointed in. And I just really liked it. I do think Jenna for sure would love this series.
I will put it on my list.
Yeah.
My very
Marissa,
long
I'm not
list.
sure, sir. Maybe.
There's romance.
Yeah, I remember you did the like I don't remember if it was Convinced to Read or what it was, but you went into a deep dive of it at one point, and I was like, it doesn't really sound like something I'd like.
Yeah.
But
The shadow magic part was really cool, and I just think that's just a cool way to, like, use magic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, and I do think that she kind of dove more into that, like broadened the world a lot more in this book. But, compared to the first one, the romance was, like barely there at all. It was non-existent except for like maybe one part of it. But it makes sense because of the way book one ended. So for those that are looking for romance, you're not going to get it in this one. But it was still fun because I enjoyed just the character herself. She's snarky, she's sassy, she's fun, and she purposely gets herself into trouble because she's just like, why not? Why not? I'm already in trouble. And like, there's one part where like one of the people is just like, oh, why are you acting like a criminal? And she's like, 'cause I am. I have broken like 3 laws to get to this point just to talk to you. And they're like, oh. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Highly recommend.
If you have read Book of Night, is that the
yes.
first one?
Oh, I will say Book of Night, the first one, came out in like 2021 or 2022. So it's been a hot minute.
Oh, yeah.
I do think you either need to do a reread or do a recap, because even from me who has read Book of Night in like January or February of this year, it goes in and it expects you to remember every single character, every single plot line. There's no like, oh yeah, and by the way, just in case you didn't remember, this is what happened. It was like, oh yeah, this character, we're going to go talk to this character. And I was like, who? Yeah. For like most of the characters outside of the main like 5 characters.
No Nevernight recap at the very beginning.
No Nevernight recap at the very beginning. Which actually she may do that because the acknowledgements weren't even filled in. So she may. We'll see. But yeah.
When did it release?
Oh, that's a very good question. Did you do when yours releases, Jenna?
Yes, she did.
November 4th. Not spooky season.
Guess what? I was not paying attention.
It's okay.
Oh, I didn't write that down on this one specifically. Thief of Night. Oh, yeah. So it is a duology because it's called the Charlatan Duology. And her name is Charlie. I love it so much.
Oh.
All right. So this book releases September 23rd of this year, 2025. Yeah. And it was also a quick read. It took me like 2.5 days. Nice. But also I did spend an entire day reading it. So I could not put it down.
I've had books like that. I've had books where I literally stayed up all night going, I'm going to regret this. I'm going to regret this. I'm going to have a kid that wakes up in 2 hours. Why did I do this to myself?
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right.
Very nice.
Well, yeah. Thank you, guys. I hope that one of these books, or maybe all of them, sound interesting to you or to someone you know, and you're adding it to your TBR. Because I think that they're well worth the read, at least for some of you.
Except for your Romeo and Juliet one.
Except for the Romeo. I hope that if you really don't care about good dialogue, or you want something very spot on the nose about Romeo and Juliet, and you like the idea of battling bookshops, go for it. Try it. Maybe it's up your alley. Maybe you really love it. But yeah. Thanks, guys. We will find us on Instagram, Facebook, all the places. And yeah, like, rate, review, subscribe, all those things that you do. And then I'm going to end this on a quote.
What are we currently reading?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. What are we currently reading? I'm not reading anything, so that's why.
You're in between books?
I'm in between books. So what about you, Megan?
I am reading, I just picked it up this morning, was Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon. And that is like the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, where it's set like 2 years before Priory of the Orange Tree starts.
The prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, but the sequel to A Day of Fallen Night.
Yes. And it is technically supposed to be a novella at 288 pages. Compared to her other books, yes, it is a novella. Compared to other books, it's a straight up book.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm currently reading that.
Is that one of our arcs as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
I will say though, for you, Marissa, I'm curious if you get this. the formatting in it is very weird.
Really?
Oh,
Like
no.
it's like unedited formatting. It's very
Yeah.
but that one comes out September 11th, so I'm excited to get my hands on a copy. But yeah.
Wonderful. What about you, Marissa?
I am reading Acts of God by Kanan Gill, which so far it was described as like a Kurt Vonnegut type book. So of course I was like, yeah, let me pick that up. I was laughing before the first chapter, just reading like the preface and all of that stuff. It was pretty funny, and it is very confusing at times, so I can understand why people wouldn't like it. There are some, like, I don't know if it's formatting, if it's grammar, what, but there are some, like, nitpicky points that I have on it. But I also think those might be on purpose because the narrator basically talks to the reader all the time and tries to, like, annoy the reader sometimes. Like, each chapter starts with a quote and it'll say something, like, it's like a quote from something in the book, like some sort of, like, newspaper clipping from the book or something. But then, like, one of the chapters was just like, are these interruptions really annoying to you? And then, like, the quoted person saying it is the narrator.
Oh my god, that's great.
But yeah, it's very fourth wall break, very funny, very insightful, satirical. I got a lot to say about it, but once again, I'm only halfway through, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear about these.
yeah.
Not so much that one because I haven't read Priory or of Day of Fall Night, but
This, I will not say this is, I don't think this is a good introduction because
you must have read the other ones to understand everything.
Yeah. It starts off in like a very, it's like a specific country that is not as important. Like, it is pretty important in the books. Anyway, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll find out
I was
eventually.
going to say, even still, I think Priory of the Orange Tree started you out like you knew what was going on in the book, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. What's going on?
It's very true.
Anyways.
Okay, so I'm going to end this one on a quote. And this quote is by Mokokomo Hanoana.
That must be one of Megan's quotes.
No, it's
No.
mine.
Oh.
She found her own.
Mokono Ana. It's definitely Hawaiian, I'm pretty sure. Recommending a book to someone is the second best thing to buying it for them, which is the second best thing to reading it for them.
Oh, that is a good quote.
Yeah. It was worth stumbling over the name. At least I could attempt to pronounce this name, which was unlike some of the other ones I found.
We're way too far into recording. I'll tell you after.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you guys. Until next time.
Bye.